Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Michelle, and today we're going to talk about a subject that I don't really see talked about much on YouTube, and that is transgendered signings. What do you do when you get to a signing and a person doesn't appear to be the person that's named in the documents? Okay, first, one of the things that I want to say as a notary we are public officials, and as a notary, we cannot refuse service based on discrimination against a person's or a signer's race, their religion, their gender, um, disability, or their personal beliefs. Okay, refusal to perform a lawful act due to biases is a violation of professional responsibility. Do not get sued. Do not lose your commission discriminating. It's wrong. Don't do it. You wouldn't want anybody to discriminate against you, so don't do it. Um, the reason why this is even an issue is because transgendered people sometimes have a hard time legally changing their gender, or their name on legal documents. Okay, so that's kind of why they get faced with this. um, so when you go to a sign-in, and I'll give you my example, something that happened to me, my story time, okay? I had a sign-in for John Doe. I went through all the documents. It was just John Doe on all the documents. Saw that when I prepped my documents the night before. Arrived at the sign-in. Mrs. Doe answered the door, invited me in, led me to the table where the signing would be conducted. As I gathered my paperwork out, I'm waiting for Mr. Doe, Mr. John Doe, to sit down at the table, and I'm looking around. I don't hear anything, and I'm like, well, will John Doe be joining us? And she said, I am John Doe. Well, I used to be John Doe. I'm Jane Doe now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so she gives me her ID. The ID says John Doe. I look at the picture and the person sitting in front of me matched. As I had her complete my notary journal, the signature in the notary journal was the exact signature that was on the identification. And so we moved forward. I made sure that she was aware that she would need to sign all the documents as they was listed, John Doe. We went through the whole um, all the documents. She signed the documents. And at the end of the signing, after I double checked my work, I let her know, hey, congratulations on your refinance. I wish you well and have an amazing day. And I went on my merry way. Okay. Her gender did not mean anything to me. I didn't care about that. What I cared about was making sure that I identified the person that was in front of me, that we got the document signed, that I double checked and make sure that I corrected for errors, that I got the documents to FedEx and shipped, and that I got my check. I didn't care anything about um, John Doe now being Jane Doe. Not my business. Only business was mine was getting my check, and I got the job done. Now that's not always going to be the case. For most people, you may not be able to identify the person that's sitting in front of you. And then sometimes it's not even going to be the person sitting in front of you, because there are cases of fraud, right? So again, as our job as notaries is that we want to make sure that we are properly identifying the people who are in front of us. Okay. So some ways that you can identify transgenders, maybe they have their driver's license, and under gender you want to check for and see if there's an X. Sometimes there are X's for the gender. Their passports, for the gender, they may also have an X. I know that the newer passports are not going to have an option for them to put X as their gender, but there may be some old passports that will have X for their gender. When in doubt, there could be some legal documents or court orders or papers showing like a legal name change or gender change that you could ask for if the ID doesn't match up. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the person that's sitting in front of you is the person in those documents, right? So when in doubt, contact the people that hired you to do the signing. Let them know your concern. If you feel that that person in front of you is not the person that's named in the documents, it is your commission and it is your right to not sign those documents. But it is not your right not to sign those documents based on discrimination, okay? Do not discriminate. Do not refuse to sign those documents because of their gender. Um, again, when in doubt, check with the signing company, but also know your notary laws. And, when it comes to, transgender, you may want to learn a little bit more about laws and they're protected, what laws they are protected by as well, because you don't want to have yourself in a situation where you're being sued for discrimination, and really you're just trying to do your job because you don't really know how to identify them. So again, know your notary laws. Don't be afraid. That's the one thing also that I learned, and I was told, hey, if you, when in doubt, ask. Hey, I'm signing documents for John Doe, but you appear to be Jane Doe. Are you transgender? See, me, because of the person that I am, I would be like, hey, the documents say John Doe, but you appear to be Jane. You transition, girl? Like that would be something I would say, right? But everybody's not me. So, and not everybody can get away with that. Um, but don't be afraid to ask. Do your job. Get your money. Get those documents signed. But make sure you identify that person, okay? What God has for you is for you. I hope that helped.